Hello everyone, my name is Dimitri. I'm IAB Europe's Data Analyst and Sustainability Lead, and today I'll be walking you through our new tool called CreativeLi. We're very excited to be launching this new utility in beta, and we look forward to receiving feedback on the user experience from participating organizations. Now, this tool is a result of our work together with AdNet0 in a forum called the Sustainable Creatives Task Force. This came about because of interest from global brands in understanding how exactly they can decarbonize their digital campaigns, specifically looking at ad serving. We have worked with brands, ad servers, CDN, and specialist vendors to really understand what the industry is currently doing through an RFI we put out, as well as to examine ways to optimize image and video assets, as well as ad tags more generally, in order to reduce load on IT infrastructure. We've been compiling all of this work to produce case studies, research, and utilities that can be leveraged by the ecosystem to reduce its carbon footprint. And we're starting with CreativeLi, which is essentially a compression utility for image assets. So the objective here is to minimize file size and therefore the load on storage and network resources while maintaining visual fidelity. And the task force is also keen to examine any potential impact on performance. So the optimal scenario would be to achieve the right compression settings where you have a non-negative impact on performance. That means either there is no impact on performance and you're simply saving on some carbon, or there is also a positive impact on performance by virtue of the fact you have reduced latency and an improved user experience. That being said, let's dive into the tool and see exactly how it works. So right off the bat, you begin by uploading an image. In this particular case, one of the members of the task force, a company called Seen This, has very graciously provided an uncompressed creative. It's really important that it's uncompressed at this stage because all compression algorithms tend to perform better beginning with the full information of the image asset rather than going through multiple rounds of compression. So while Seen This actually specializes in compressing assets, they've done us a favor and given this one straight out of the Creative Suite. Initially, you get some information about the image itself, things like format, dimensions, size, color space, bit depth, bits per pixel, and whether there's any transparency. And then there are three modes that you can optimize through. We'll start with the simplest one called benchmark. Benchmark simply takes a file size or bits per pixel limit and optimizes the image to fall below that threshold. Now, these are virtually the same because the dimensions are constant, but we've offered both options because they tend to appear separately in some pieces of guidance. So in this particular case, say we wanted to reach a file size of 75 kilobytes, you can simply click Optimize, wait for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then we'll have options, oh, that was fast, across three formats. Oh, and the reason why it was fast in this case is because using the max quality setting for all three formats, I think in this case 95, actually yields files below that file size limit. So let's reduce it further and go to about 40. Optimize once more. Okay, and in this case, it took a little bit longer. You've got the quality settings that yield files under that threshold across these three formats. And you can also preview all three, or I should actually say two of the three, because we currently have a small bug with AVIF that we're working to fix. However, you can download the AVIF and view it locally on your device. The second mode is called lightweighting. And here we're really trying to understand how much we can push compression without harming the visual quality of the image. To do that, we use a particular measure called the Structural Similarity Index measure, which essentially analyzes the images looking at different regions to understand the difference before and after compression. Now, the default we recommend to start with is 0.95, but this is adjustable in case the output is not really satisfactory. So using the tool in lightweighting mode now, waiting a few seconds, we'll receive three options for a file that at the same time pushes compression as much as possible, but maintains visual fidelity which is expressed through this metric right here. So in terms of quality setting, we've got the 3 quality settings for the 3 formats. And then we can also look at the visual output, which does seem to be quite satisfactory. In this case, there isn't any obvious degradation. If you want to have a closer look, again, you can download these images and compare them side to side or blow them up on your screen. And now the last mode is called Lean, and this actually pulls some information from the IAB Lean framework, and in particular, the flexible add sizing grid. So there you can find file size limits for static image files dependent on the dimensions of the asset. So in this particular case, the backend will now analyze the image, understand what the appropriate threshold is based on the Lean framework, and then deliver the appropriate assets. In this particular case, again, the file size limit is actually above the current file size of the file. This also alludes to the fact that the Lean framework was released in 2017, and there's been a lot of progress in terms of compression since then. So again, we're getting the max quality setting in CreativeLi, which is 95. But let's look at an example where the image actually exceeds the current Lean threshold. So here we have an example of an image that actually exceeds the limits set out by the Lean framework. And in this particular case, I believe for these dimensions, the limit would be around 250 kilobytes. You see that this image is actually 600 kilobytes. So once we optimize using the Lean mode, after waiting a few seconds, we are going to get, again, 3 files that are compliant with the static image file size limit that is offered within the flexible add sizing grid. So we are essentially looking to reduce the file size just below the threshold set out by the Lean framework. All right, here we have the 3 images. As you can see, the file size is indeed around 250, and the visual comparison checks out as well. Doesn't seem like fidelity has been substantially reduced. Again, feel free to download for a closer look. And that is essentially how CreativeLi works. A lot of this information you can also find in the help section. And if you are a member of IAB Europe interested in participating in this open beta, feel free to reach out through the form that is attached to the announcement. Thank you.